first question is about your character. Trevante is a soldier based on Afghanistan who has the misfortune of having the first direct contact with the aliens. This is a scene at the end of the second episode that is truly, truly extraordinary. What are the qualities of your characters who find himself alone in managing a very complex situation?
I think it tests his ability to deal with something that's not something that's foreign, but extremely foreign. I think he's trained to deal with a lot of things, but I don't think as a Navy SEAL he was trained to deal with extraterrestrial, things. I think there's a moment in time where he's probably thinking that, oh my goodness, this is probably, some sort of, incredible, military built ship or something. But as the series progresses, you get to realize and get to see that Trevante is unfolding and realizing that, hey, something is completely off.
Aliens are not seen immediately, but everything is played on waiting of the invasion and the reaction of humanity to the idea to be invaded by extraterrestrial forms. Do you agree if I tell you that the first episodes of the first signs of invasion are even more disturbing than the effective arrival of the aliens on Earth?
Yeah, I think knowing what's coming is really scary versus, when it's arrived, which is scarier in some aspects. But I think once you've met that fear, you face that idea of what that fear is, then you come to terms with it and then you deal with it. It's literally what most of these films are, when, the idea of something's about to happen, and then when it happens or it's happening, you have to get through it. But that's suspense, right? That's the suspensefulness of like what makes these shows. And I think what makes it even better is that we're seeing it from four different perspectives, or several different perspectives rather, and several perspectives, and how each individual deals with it and how they continue to deal with it as the series evolves.
How much does the theme of aliens fascinated you, and why do you think that the alien invasion from space has an eternal fascination in cinema and TV?
From what I took away from the question is the fascination. I think people are fascinated with the unknown. I think they're really fascinated with things that they don't know about. Humans love to explore. We've explored for centuries. And I think this is just a part of our exploration, the next level of our exploration. I mean, we're seeing it now with these, tycoons, billionaires, going into space and, flying out there. I just think humans love to keep tapping into that next level of life. And I think that's the fascination and why people are probably going to love this series, because they get to see it in an entertaining way.
Did you have the feeling of participating in the filming of such an important series as this?
I mean, I was excited about a lot of stuff. One of them being able to travel to Morocco for the first time in my life, and to be able to go to the desert and film out there. I was excited to be a part of this project for Apple. I've never worked with Apple before. I love their content. And then two, just, being an actor, being able to play someone in the military, I think that was really cool, being able to challenge myself in that way.
So I loved very much an incredibly well done aspect of Invasion. It's not just an alien invasion story as that we saw a lot of times on TV and cinema, but it's yet something more. It's how people from different backgrounds and different races and continents will deal with an epic antagonist like aliens come to Earth. So we can say it's a way to look at invasion from another perspective. Are you agree with me?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Simon and I's initial instinct and impulse to create the show was to defy the general convention. It's often an American or white Western hero at the center of an alien invasion story in the canon. And so we were excited to tell a global story, to find characters from around the world who felt like aliens in their own lives, whether in their own family or society or culture, who then had to face an alien invasion.
How much Orson Welles' War of the Worlds was an inspiration for this series?
Yes, there was so much inspiration. War of the Worlds, the book, was something I read as a kid, and it just was had such an effect on me. But the radio play, Orson Welles' radio play adaptation, was, I think, the key inspiration for Simon and I for this series. We wanted to create something just like that radio play did, that skirted reality and fiction, whereby an audience didn't know if this was actually happening to them. So our North Star for the series was keeping it as grounded as possible, and for an audience to say, oh my gosh, I would make that decision, or I would choose that. Not necessarily what, Tom Cruise or Will Smith might choose, but we, as everyday people would choose.
Yeah. The look of the aliens is certainly original. What inspired you from their shape? What did you start from to make their look so incredibly dark?
The aliens themselves started with the stuff of Simon and my nightmares as kids. We wanted to start very personally. What are the creatures that we fear that lived under the bed or in the closet or out in the in the woods? And we started there, and it was a process of a year-long process with brilliant artists and Jakob, our director, really shaping what the aliens looked like, how they sounded, how they felt, what their communication was like. We really tried to deepen their entire reason for being.
Will there be a second season of Invasion? Is it already scheduled?
Well, I hope that there is a second season. We don't know just yet, but my hope is that there will be, because we have so much great story to tell.